Microsoft Ignite 2023 day one was exciting. I joined virtually, my backpack was full, and in this video, I will focus on new Outlook for Windows Q&A session. I will summarize what I learned and what I found interesting from that QA session. The session was held on Microsoft Teams call. I looked up, there was like 414 virtual attendees. I'm not sure how many were physically in Seattle, but the room did look pretty full. There were a total of 50 questions within 1 hour. I will not read all of them. I will highlight the key ones. Grab a beverage and a notepad so you can take some notes. I will say the vibe for New Outlook was mixed. What I gathered from the questions and in the comments in the chat, people seem actively engaged in the discussions, asking specific questions about the features and the updates and concerns related to New Outlook. Some attendees expressed concerns and frustrations related to some of the features as well. I also noticed that there is a huge desire for improvements in various aspects of the new Outlook experience. Microsoft did acknowledge the challenges, the backlogs in certain areas, suggesting a realistic view of the development process that they encounter and the complexity of addressing users' concerns. The last thing that I will mention is there was some emphasis on innovation with references to experiences like Copilot, of course, evolving technologies. I have grouped the questions into 8 categories. Let's review them. The first category is around the techie stuff, IT. In the IT space, questions about on-premise, offline and cache modes. PST is on backlog, but they will be supported. Another question that I thought was, pretty interesting was around plugins and strategy. What is the overarching plugin strategy, especially with current release schedule? And Microsoft responded, the focus is on web add-ins framework as solutions to replace COM add-ins, emphasizing, a cross-platform deployment. And they did say they are aware of the gaps. There was also some concerns about the onboarding of third-party applications. Microsoft response was that they are currently working with third-party providers for them to sign up so they can collaborate and start to, work with them so they can move their COM add-ins over to the web. Let's focus on the end user stuff, the features. So a couple questions, there were quite a bit of them. One was around spell check. So the question was the ability to do spell check before sending the email. And Microsoft acknowledged that there are some improvements coming, but it's on backlog for now. And the one that I was really interested in is around attachments. So right now, we cannot save our attachments to our local drive, only to one drive. Microsoft said, yes, expect, improvements down the road. Another one of my favorite questions, because I didn't even think about it because I don't use quick parts and templates anymore. The question was, will there be more robust templates available? And one of the panelists responded that, she has a personal attachment to this request. Plans are being worked on, but there's no concrete information at this time. So what do you guys think? Is it coming or is it on the backlog? Questions around universe settings. People want to see universe settings for tools like signatures and font size, again, on backlog. I get asked all the time, as well as the question came up in this session, Will Microsoft return the feature showing the number of unread messages over the taskbar icon? And they kind of was a little flustered with the question, and he responded, "Oh, that's a great suggestion." So don't know where that's going to be on the pipeline. And another one that is a hot topic for a lot of folks, including me, is the ability to run rules on all your rules and not at one at a time. Again, they did say that they kind of talked through the way the process is or what their mindset was around this feature, but I could not tell if it's on the backlog or not. So stay tuned for that. There was a lot of questions around folders. Currently supported in future development to come around search folders and favoring inbox folders. What's on backlog is public folders and delicate mailbox folders. Email signatures also came up. These questions was focused on roaming email signature. At one point, users has to manually up their signature on the web, on Windows, and the mobile devices. The email signature roaming functionality is currently available, but expect more improvements in the future. One participant asked if there are any plans for enterprise-wide auto signature deployment. Again, it's on backlog. Their goal is to drive more roaming across apps for a seamless experience. Focus Inbox was also talked about. This feature received mixed reviews. Some people can't do without it. Others don't want no part of it. But what was really interesting is one participant provided Microsoft feedback about rolling out the features as a default without users and IT being informed, which caused them chaos. Now, Microsoft do inform them. I don't know how often you go to the roadmap or to the message center, but one day you just show up in your office, turn on your computer, and then your emails are not in the inbox. They are split between the two tabs. So Microsoft just accepted the feedback. Okay, what was really interesting, one of the questions came up, will Copilot for Outlook make Focus Inbox obsolete? The response was, there's massive potential. Keyword was massive potential. And they are actively working on a prototype. They don't think that it will replace the Focus Inbox, but it has promise. So stay tuned for that. Many questions were directed to Classic versus New Outlook. Is their goal to shift parity between Outlook on the web with Outlook client? Microsoft goals are not clear. And then this was a bold question. Do you have moments where you question the move to New Outlook? Why run, the two apps in parallel? Microsoft responded that, they believe in most cases, New Outlook experiences is more efficient. However, in other cases, they're just not aware if some features are still being used. One of the speakers stated that the benefits are not only innovative forward, but fix forward. Since the code base for consumers, which is the mail and calendar app, and commercial versions is the same, emphasizes efficiency for all. They also address that you can run both the classic and new Outlook at once. I have a video targeting early adopters, recommending handling new and missing features. I will add the link in the description. An IT administrator asked, will Classic Outlook still be supported for companies unable to move to the new version. Classic Outlook will be supported. No plans to change the licensing. There were 7 questions about communications and documentation, or lack thereof, available for end users. In a nutshell, the panelists responded with Microsoft 365 communications and documentation strategy revolve around the roadmap for releasing and upgrading information. Improvements in documentation is Microsoft's priority. They are aware of it based on user feedback. Change management and support documentations are in progress. But if you have a unique issue that requires troubleshooting, there's no documentation for that, but you may have to have direct follow-up to resolve the issue. Here's my last category: general availability and delivery of new Outlook. In summary, the new Outlook development and release strategy, again, focuses on users' feedback, back-end optimization, and the transition of features from classic Outlook. The roadmap prioritizes a balanced approach rather than solely relying on feedback volume. When I heard that statement, I said I have to stop telling people the squeaky wheel may get their attention. Even though I said may, they don't want to overlook valid features that no one is submitting feedback on. And that's fair. But you won't hear me make that statement anymore. Integration upgrades aim for a smoother transition with a shift towards faster iterations and gradually make adjustments to your workflow. They also said around general availability for the consumers, and again, that's the mail and calendar app. It was launched in September. Users have until the end of 2024 to toggle back and forth. Meanwhile, for the commercial version, it's still in preview. No specific general availability timeline was given. Watch my video on the strategies and timeline recap that Microsoft had shared with folks back in September. That's all I have. That's what I learned from Ignite 2023 Day 1. Now, go work your magic.